So I woke up to this greeting on my truck at a truck stop this morning. And this has to be a Tim Gentry fan, right? I mean, because the only people that draw dicks and leave them on people's trucks have got to be either a Tim Gentry fan or a Just Truckin' fan, right? Am I wrong or am I wrong?
I just woke up. Whoa, what's that? Somebody left me a note on my truck this morning. Gentry.
What up, YouTube? How's everyone doing today? Me, I'm doing pretty good. We're just heading out of the house. We had a nice pass-through run. I was able to go home and then leave in the morning to go deliver and then come back home for the night and then leave again the next morning to go pick up. So it worked out pretty good. It's always nice when stuff like that happens. A lot of pass-through opportunity in the area, which is good for me. But couple things to talk about today. The primary thing is Bumbles versus Elite. That's going to be the primary focus of the video, but I got to take a moment to talk about my absolute favorite new YouTuber, my GW Bowles YouTuber, Tommy Unfiltered. Tommy W. Bowles is what we're going to call him. And I know he was supposed to stay out of the drama. He was moving on from that. I mean, I was too. I'll be honest, guys. That whole Charlie Kirk thing fucked me up pretty bad. Not like it affected me personally. Obviously, I didn't know him. But just the people that were celebrating it and just the blatant, like, anti-American, anti-conservative, like, the one-sided nature just pissed me off. You know, it's like, at some point, it's like, when do you stop? I don't know, like, when do you stop playing nice and start being an asshole? I mean, I was doxing the fuck out of people, reporting them to their jobs and shit. I was on a rampage. I was like, you guys think this is funny? Let's see how funny it fucking is, you know, and then you get all these videos of people losing their jobs and shit. You know, I went down a whole rabbit hole of that. But ultimately, I mean, I got it out of my system. But ultimately, it's not going to solve anything, right? There's the Sage podcasts and this guy Trucks of the world who just grift online for views, and you know they'll happily destroy this country as long as it fits their fucking Democrat narrative. You know, those guys aren't going to go away just because I reported a few people on Facebook and Instagram to their jobs, right? So, sorry, the road's fucked up here. So, I mean, that's never going to go away. So, I did want to try to make a change and do differently, but I mean, I'm one fucking person, and my power reach is limited, right? Like, what power do I really have, right? You know, we all have a voice, but to be perfectly honest, not everyone's voice is equally as powerful, right? Am I allowed to talk? Am I allowed to spread my opinion? Yeah, absolutely. But is it going to get the same impact as if I was a fucking politician or a movie star or a fucking DJ disc jockey guy or whatever? You know, no, absolutely not. So I'm not going to be changing the world. But I can annoy a few people in the trucking community, you know. But But I'm not going back on my word. Like I'm gonna leave Gentry alone. I'm not gonna fuck with Crystal. Not gonna fuck with Steve, unless they give me a reason to. But I've got other targets in mind, and we'll get to that. And but Tommy is now back in the drama, and I just think it's funny that he's back in the drama for the reason that everybody said he was going to be back in the drama, and that's because he couldn't get views with his shitty food reviews. So he was like, fuck, I better start talking about just trucking again. What a tool. What a tool. And I mean, you could argue that I'm doing the same thing, but I mean, look at the people that I go after, right? I'm talking shit about Augustine Ramos, fucking Trucking Unfiltered. I'm not trying to garner views off of someone's name, I'm not that guy. Some people might, but it's not me. If I see something that I think is stupid or I disagree with, I'm going to comment on it, right? Regardless of how large their channel is. Unless it's just fucking wildly out of pocket. Like if it's a troll account with no videos, no posts, no face, and they just say some out-of-pocket shit like, I fucked your mom last night. I mean, what am I going to say to that, right? I'll just be like, me too. I got your mom back, Like, what am I going to say to someone like that? So, I mean, I won't necessarily care about stuff like that, but, if you're a small channel, you got 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, something, somewhere in my range, I'm still going to spend time talking about you if I don't like what you say. Right? I don't just go after the big names. And, but that's what Tommy does, right? He's 100% a clout chaser for views. And I mean, I don't think he's ever denied it. So I don't think he's ever outright denied that he's doing it. But he tries to give this, like, holier-than-thou perspective, like, somebody's brakes are hot. Smell it, but as long as they're not mine. But he won't just embrace it, right? He's always trying to play this line, and you can't play a line. You either cross it or you don't. And regardless of how he feels, Elite 100% got that motherfucker with the swatting thing, because he went out of his way. He went out of his way to lie about something that we all, at least on my side of YouTube, we all knew wasn't real. But him and his powerful YouTube friends had to fucking lie to try to disprove something that everybody already knew was fake. And that right there was the break in the armor when I was just like, okay, now we got you. Now we're playing you like a fiddle, right? Just like Gentry did to him, right? You guys remember when Tommy made that video and he's like, I met Gentry, we had a great conversation, he gave me his phone. Now I can give him advice over the phone, and instead of making video after video. You think Gentry, you think Tim Gentry, a guy that's buying companies left and right, is going to take advice from a dude who couldn't keep a fucking clapped out Volvo on the road? You think he's taking Tommy's fucking calls seriously? Gentry, here's what a 6-year driver, right? Just because you had your CDL for 6 years doesn't mean you've been driving for 6 years. Because, I mean, you were a roofer and you were a fucking pressure washer guy. So, I mean, I guess good job. I mean, good job on you for trying different things. You got to live life to the fullest when you've missed half of it. But, he's not going to take advice from a guy like Tommy, right? And Gentry absolutely played Tommy like a fiddle. I mean, he kind of played everybody like a fiddle if you really think about it. I mean, Gentry definitely fucking won that YouTube battle, I'll say that much. He had Alice and Martin from Trucking Together groveling at his feet, old Tommy Two Lips friends, groveling at his feet. Please, Tim, we're so sorry, Tim Gentry. They got played. And they're trying so desperately to make it seem like they didn't. And how do I know that they're playing? Well, this is where the Bumbles thing comes in. So recently, Bumbles was upset because Elite had posted a post, kind of making fun of Big Belly and his situation. And mind you, everything that Elite was talking about was freely put on the internet by Big Belly and Bumbles themselves, right? Like, she talked about his struggles with sexuality, he talked about his struggles with sexuality, and Elite went ahead and made a joke about it. I mean, you put it out on the internet, right? I'm sure that in all the time that Bumbles has been on the internet, she's had way worse things in her comments, way more disrespectful people than Elite, right? Making a joke. And, she said, oh, he took down all his videos, because somebody's trying to sue him and maybe he should learn his lesson. And that's where this video is going to center around, is this threat of lawsuit, his videos coming down. Because a lot of people seem to think that he was run off, that he's over it. And you're wrong, right? I don't know if, when he's going to come back and what that's going to look like. I don't know, right? That's his prerogative, right? But if you think you ran him off, you're sadly mistaken. And again, this isn't an attack on Bumbles, right? Like, she's just unaware of the situation, which is fine. But when she made those comments, I was like, no, I think a video is in order. I think that's a good topic of discussion. And so, to kind of give everybody an idea of what's actually happening, like a history lesson, right, for people like Bumbles who aren't aware, is some time ago. I mean, I feel like this started in March, like maybe February. It's been a while that all this shit's been going on. If not longer. You guys think it was longer? I don't know. It's been a while. And it all started with Gentry, Tim Gentry. There were rumors flying about Tim Gentry. And they were definitely juicy, right? And we're all about drama. So some of us, including Elite, decided to explore that, like see what's going on. Well, when everything first got started, we had no idea that these rumors were started by somebody that not only knew Gentry closely, but the rumors, for the most part, I mean, some of the stuff turned out to be true, but it was like blown out of proportion. I'm not going to get into that, right? Like, I'm not here to attack Tim Gentry, unless he gives me a reason to. But the people spreading the rumors were big YouTubers. And that was the big surprise. And how they got involved is because Tommy, old Tommy Tulips, and again, Bumbles, if you remember, you had to ask Tommy to take down that video he made of you and your child issues with the state of Kentucky. Right? He made that video. Me, Elite, Billy, everybody on like the, I hate to say my side, but it's this side of YouTube. We saw that content on your channel and we said, no, we're not going to make a video about that. That's not a good look to talk about that. Even though she put it out on the internet for everybody to see, I feel it's in bad taste for us to talk about a child. We'll make fun of her husband because her husband is a grown man, right? And he's been through a hell of a lot in life that is way worse than anything anybody could say about him on the internet. So, I mean, I feel like if you're making a joke about Big Belly, even if Bumbles doesn't like it, I would imagine that Big Belly is probably tough enough at this point in his life after what he's gone through, he could fucking handle some shit talking on the internet. Just my opinion. But as far as the children, the child stuff, we all saw that and we're like, no, that's in bad taste to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We might be assholes, but we're not that big of an asshole. But Tommy didn't care. He went right ahead and made that video, calling Bumbles a bad mother, a bad parent. questioning the home life of that family, right? He did that. And Bumbles had to reach out to him and tell him to take it down. And I mean, of course he did, because he won't stand on anything. You know, he took it down immediately because he's a coward. You know, he'll talk all that shit, but then if somebody says, hey, he gets scared and starts reporting shit to the FBI. Gentry says he's coming for me. I've sent all the information to the FBI. I'm in danger. Oh my God. Right? All that stuff's been, you know, conveniently deleted. And because Tommy was talking about, and Tommy did do that, he was talking about how Gentry was coming to get him. So his friends, Alice and Martin from Trucking Together, decided they were going to help him out. Right? That's their boy. Right? That's their boy. Even if he doesn't want to admit it, even if he wants to lie about his association with them, that's their friend. They decided they wanted to help Tommy beat Gentry because they didn't like Gentry for whatever reason. And they reached out to Elite and said, hey, we see you going after Gentry. We're going to help you out. We're going to feed you all this information so you can take down Tim Gentry. And they did it to protect Tommy, their boy, because he was talking about how scared he was that Gentry was going to come and get him, and he had to talk to the FBI and yada, 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 right? So Elite goes, okay, you know, whatever. And Tommy didn't ask Elite for help. Elite's just that kind of guy where he sees someone getting bullied, he'll step in and be like, all right, I'll bully you back. You know? And again, at this point, no one knew that Alice and Martin were the ones that were the shit starters, not Gentry, right? Everything had been, all the rumors pointing towards Gentry being the bad guy. Well, as Elite starts getting information from these guys, it becomes clearer and clearer that they're not going to put their own reputation on the line. They're not going to talk themselves about the shit that they're spreading in the background and laughing and giggling about. They were both in my Discord sharing fucking pictures, info about Tim Gentry. That's embarrassing. I missed a gear so bad right now. Anyway, sorry, I got a phone call. They were in there just talking all kinds of shit, sharing all kinds of info about Gentry and his personal life and his business life and all kinds of shit, giggling, laughing again, sharing fucked up pictures, right? But they wouldn't do it, and they wouldn't do it themselves, right? They wouldn't put their face to it. They wouldn't put their name to it. And so Elite was like, they're going to throw me under the bus, right? He started putting it together. He's like, they're going to talk all this shit, but as soon as Gentry responds, they're going to act like they had nothing to do with it, and I'm going to look like the asshole, even though I'm sharing the information that they provided. So he kind of started putting pressure on them, right? He talked to Gentry on the phone, got some info, right? He started getting background information from other people, started putting it together. And then finally, when it all came out that Alice and Martin immediately caved to Tim Gentry, Elite was like, here we go. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen. They're going to fucking try to fuck me over. And so he got ahead of it. He put out all the info. He said, these are the messages they're sharing to me. This is the shit they're saying in the background, but they're trying not to put their face to it. They're trying to make other people do their dirty work. And all for Tommy. All for Tommy. Right? A guy that shit talks other people on the internet and finally got some fucking consequences for it. And then he had to call in a big old YouTube channel to come try to save him. Because they're his quote-unquote friend. Right? And so once Alice and Martin kind of got exposed as being shitbags, they were, of course, mad. They didn't want to be exposed. So then they turned all their ire on Elite, the guy that they were trying to fucking throw under the bus, started threatening him with lawsuits, started saying they were going to try to take his channel down. That's why his videos are gone, is because these motherfuckers are striking everything, trying to silence him, because he knows too much about him. Right? And then you got Tommy over there Oh, I sent FOIA requests to Elite's police department of his hometown, right? Never put the info out. Now that he's had time to doctor up a fake email, right now he'll put it out, I bet. I guarantee you that. But so they didn't go after Elite because he was an asshole. They went after Elite because he exposed them for being assholes, which is what he does. Right? He's taken down a lot of these fucking fake tough guy channels, shit talking channels. You know, he doesn't punch down, right? He's not going to go after a channel like Augustine Ramos or fucking, you know, Tommy, really, unless Tommy wants smoke from him, I guess. But even then, he'll probably ignore him. You know, that's my game. I like fucking with the smaller channels because they'll respond to me, right? They're not too big to talk to me. But Elite, he punches up, right? He's not bullying people. He's not bullying small channels. He's not gathering a wave of subscribers to fucking attack somebody, right? He punches up. And he often wins when he does. That's why Alice and Martin are trying to get rid of him, because they know he's going to fucking crack all their bullshit wide open. So that's the history lesson, guys. That's what's really going on. I know YouTube has a short memory, and I know people like to just change the story conveniently to fit whatever narrative they want to stick. But that's the reality. Is that Alice and Martin and Tommy, whether intentionally or accidentally, I'm not sure what, but the three of them are the reason all this fucking drama popped off with Gentry and Steve in the first place. So they can trash talk everybody in the background and spread lies and rumors and bullshit and make fun of people and make fucked up pictures of people. But as soon as it happens to them, oh, they're the victims, right? They're the worst kind of hypocrites, right? The fucking victim narcissist. They just love to play victim. So, as you could probably guess, that's the new target, right? That's the new target we're going to be going for. And I can tell you guys, they're not going to be fucking happy. I can promise you that. I think I'll throw up a picture right here at the end. These are some, just a small little bit of evidence about what's going on. So, Alice and Martin were both in my Discord, and they were sharing info with Elite in there. And Alice has deleted her Discord account, so now everything she said, it's all saved, but unfortunately it just says deleted user, so I mean, you know, it's not like I can prove it was her, but she knows what she said. Of course, the fact that she deleted it to try to distance herself, I mean, should show you guys that they're guilty, but old Martin, or somebody that's a friend of Martin, didn't delete their Discord account. They just left they left the server. And so everything that they posted is still there. It was an account called Bocephus. And Martin is aware of who that is because he shared screenshots of Bocephus with another person that was leaking information to Elite, an anonymous source. And that Bocephus person, they shared Tim Gentry's divorce proceedings. They shared stuff about the shop burning down. They shared all kinds of info. They shared stuff about Chris leaving FSC. They shared all kinds of stuff. They made fucked up edited pictures. I'm not going to put the whole picture in here, but just to prove I have it, to make someone nervous, I guess I'll put like a partial picture, but it's the Bocephus person, right? That's none of us. That's someone who is either Martin or knows Martin. And Martin is known to use troll accounts because the KW 900 horsepower bullshit, that's Martin. So they try to hide behind troll accounts and other shit, but we all kind of know who they are. And again, I find that ironic because Tommy likes to go on there and be like, you guys wouldn't say any of this stuff in person. You guys wouldn't say any of this stuff in person. Meanwhile, his best good friends can't even say the shit that they're saying on their own YouTube channel. They got to make troll accounts. They got to use other people like Elite Podcast to say the shit that they want to say because they don't have the balls to say what they want to say. So I don't know. But that's what I got for this one, guys. I don't know how heavily I'm going to be back in the drama. I don't know if I'm going to do it relentlessly. But I'm definitely going to be a part of it. But again, I'm not just going to go after petty stuff. I'm not going to, I'm not going to go after everybody. I got to kind of narrow down my focus. And I think right now my focus is going to be Augustine Ramos because he's fun to make fun of. Tommy because he's my new GW Bulls. We'll see how long it takes for him to have a mental breakdown. And then Alice and Martin because they're lying assholes. But anyway, guys, we'll see you in the next one.